In this last section of Chapter 3, we want to look at the other type of transport. Remember, we just finished talking about passive transport. Remember, passive transport did not require ATP, or energy, and it moved substances down the gradient from their high concentration towards their low concentration. Active transport is going to be the opposite. So active transport is going to move materials from lower concentrations towards higher concentrations. Now, that means it's moving up the gradient. So you'll notice from the picture, moving potassium here from its lower concentration towards its higher concentration. Two other things, though, are different here. One, active transport requires transport proteins, and it requires energy to move up the gradient. So let's look at a couple of different types here. One, we want to look at something called exocytosis. Exocytosis uses a membrane-bound vesicle. So vesicles are basically just vehicles. What these vehicles do is they're going to take material from inside of the cell. They're going to fuse with the membrane around the cell. And once they fuse with the membrane, they're going to open up the membrane and expel materials towards the outside of the cell. So this is just one way that we move materials out. Exo for exit. Another form of transport here is known as endocytosis, and it does the opposite of exocytosis. It also uses vesicles, but here you would notice material would come in contact with the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane would open up and surround that new material with the vesicle and bring it into the cell. There are three types of endocytosis based on the material that's being brought in. The first type is known as phagocytosis. Phagocytosis moves in food or solid materials. Pinocytosis moves in liquid or water. And then receptor-mediated endocytosis is very specific, so it only moves in certain types of liquids using a coated pit. And again, we'll watch this animation in class. So finally, at the end of Chapter 3, are dietary supplements beneficial? Well, if we're honest, it makes a lot more sense to just eat a healthy diet and to get these nutrients into our system naturally than to pop pills or powders or potions. And one of the main reasons behind this is because the federal government, the FDA, they do not require the same testing for safety and effectiveness of dietary supplements as they do medicines and other prescription drugs. So in our honest opinion, and what the textbook really tries to reiterate here, is that because there's not a whole lot of research backing up these dietary supplements, it's something that you probably would want to be careful in taking. So there's just not enough information to make a very good decision in using those. So if you're really wanting to give your cells the nutrients that they need, eat a healthy diet.